Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM22 One Club story from Hemel Hempstead Town with me, Daniel. We're back today for part 65 and it's still going. The momentum, is it going to stop? We're back to face Burnley, who have had a horrid start to the season, and Derby, the side we're of course managing in our Twitch live streams, which you can find in the eye above. But we're top of the league and we're 4 points clear. We've got the best goal difference. I know that it's very tight below that and we could easily slide down still once we lose momentum. But there's no sign of that happening. Even when we've had moments we've been poor, we've dug out results, as you're going to see in a minute. And like you've seen in the recent episodes, these lads are just blowing my mind. I don't get how they're doing it at this point. So if you're looking forward to finding out if we can keep it up, I'm mixed with like the overjoyous pride of seeing my team do so well. And I've also got the frustration now of, look, is this getting a bit silly? It shouldn't be this easy. So I'm mixed between the two emotions, but let me know what you think in the comments. If you're looking forward to it, please do chuck a thumbs up. Subscribe down below for daily FM22 content. The head coach will be back tomorrow, this one in 2 days' time. We've got a special mini-series coming next week as well, focusing on training. They're little mini guides like we did with the data hub, but instead of one big one, we're splitting it into a few little sections. You'll be able to catch those at 11:30 every day next week. But a massive thank you for watching, your continued support as always. Links to other things in the eye above, please do check them out. But let's get cracking, shall we? It is Burnley at home first, but we're at the end of November, and as it stands, we're looking good for a third straight promotion. Now, given the fact that we've not really had back-to-back promotions in the last 3 years of FM, the fact that we're now looking at potentially 3 is ridiculous. So let's have a look at the schedule and see what's got us to this position. Quite frankly, a ludicrous one. But you can see it's not been plain sailing. It was briefly after we left last time. We've had a little wobble this month, certainly defensively. So you were with me for Forest and Borough in the last 2 games there. We were then held by Southend in the Carabao Cup but snuck through on penalties. Bullock was the star man for us, coming off the bench to save us. And then the likes of Ricky J. Jones and Arthur Reed doing it in the spot kicks. A 1-0 win at QPR, the usual fashion, as Ricky J. Jones nicked a late first half goal. Against Bournemouth, Arthur Reed in the second minute nicks us another 1-0. And until that point, the 1st of November, we'd not conceded more than 1 goal in any game this season, sort of back to what we had in our success the first season of this save. Since then, though, we've been letting in goals galore. I don't know what's going on. So we drew 3-3 at home to Reading. Javan Malcolm saved us a late point off the bench, though, so in the end it was a pretty good result, and it kept the unbeaten run going despite an off day. Ricky J. Jones got another 2 there. Away at Fulham, we got absolutely battered. We were 2-1 down with 20 to go. Charlie Patino had overturned Ricky J. Jones' opener against the run of play. But then Sol Alidor Hamilton, I brought him off the bench to make us a bit more solid defensively so he didn't get battered. And he put one in the top corner from 30 yards in the 4th minute of stoppage time. I just don't know what you say about it anymore, because we shouldn't have got a single point out of those 2 games. But we've got this unbreakable spirit, this air of invincibility. And as a result of those 2 late points, we're now 2 months unbeaten. We beat Sheffield Wednesday 4-1 as we found a return to form in a week. Bullock and Malcolm got 1 each. Malcolm probably doing better than he was last year. And Ricky J. Jones got a brace. He stepped up to the championship with ease. And he's actually getting better every league he goes. So we're looking pretty ridiculous at the moment. I'm just waiting for the bubble to burst, because that was the spell where I talked about Fulham, Bournemouth, now Burnley, then Derby, Sheffield United, all of the favourites to be up there this season. Most of them aren't, as it happens. But it's got to go wrong eventually. So we'll see what happens. I don't want to go up again because it'll be a mauling if we do. And I don't actually think it'd be realistic. So let's get through to the fixtures for the first game of the day. As you'd imagine, all the dynamic things are brilliant. The data hubs are hilarious read. If we stay up here, we'll have a little look at it at the end of the season because it will make you laugh. But there are a few games where we've been outplayed this year. We've just been able to get the points. So everything looking fantastic. No more transfer news as of yet. Looking ahead to January, we were looking at little things we might be able to do. But I do want to very quickly point out a couple of those we sent on loan. Because if we have a look at Stuart Parry, really struggling at Morecambe in League One. 3 goals in 17 games. Didn't score in his first 6. And has now been dropped to the substitutes bench most weeks. And he's not actually getting the development we were hoping for there. So maybe he's another one that won't quite make it. But in terms of the first team, all is looking well in the world. So let's go and get ahead to Burnley. Can we shock the odds again? What sort of side can we put out? Because we're coming up against the likes of Marco Asensio. It's an absolute joke. But let's see how we can do. Nearly 9,000. I think that's the highest league attendance of the season at home. What 11 can we put out? We'll be back in a minute to run through it. Okay, so fitness struggles in the centre-half position. We've got Harry Thornley, who's a little bit off peak condition. We've got the likes of Brandon Brymore, who's back from injury but not to fitness. He wants to go out on loan for football as well. We've got Max Taylor, really unfit, outside of the squad today. And we've got a few more, like Thornhill and Doyle, just returning from little tiny knocks. So what I've had to do is leave Thornley in. We've got a week off after this, and we've got good relationships elsewhere. So I'm hoping we'll be able to survive it. We're also in a fairly luxurious position now, having 35 points, and for our original objective being most of the way to safety, I can start to look at some of the sort of younger players that we permanently own. So for example, Bennett Sharif is now starting every week ahead of McDonough, and he's becoming a fabulous player very quickly. He's improving really well, wants a lot of money for his new deal, which might be an issue, but otherwise the signs are promising. So our 11 for today is G-Cock in goal, Bennett Sharif and Armin are the fullbacks with Thornley and Doyle centre half, Egan, Hazeman, Reed and Bullock the midfield diamond, Jones and Richards up front, and then the likes of Richardson, Alador, Hamilton, Doyle and Malcolm going forward off the bench. We've got quality everywhere if we need it. I'm not sure it's the type of quality that should have us top of the championship, but it's quality nonetheless. Let's go in and face Burnley and see if we can keep this remarkable run going. Well, we have talked a few times this year about potentially momentum being a bit too important in this year's game. If us being top doesn't prove that, then what about relegated Burnley struggling to pick up form and being in 18th, despite the fact they've got Nick Pope in goal, Marco Asensio, a former Galactico in midfield, Keane Lewis Potter and Hwang up front, two absolute superstars of the game. I mean, their bench is stronger than our team. The likes of Onyeka, Kipre, Amachi, even Ola Aina, they're so much better than what we've got. So we're going to have to be at our best, but we continue to justify the odds. Even when we're not our best, we're ruthless. And as long as we're that, maybe we will get a result. Who knows? I'm almost starting to expect it now. As we've got to throw early doors with Bennett Sharif and Egan. Ball into the box, Arthur Reed is up. Headed away as far as Hazeman and Thornley. Got a man out over on the right. Goes short to Egan instead though, who finds Doyle. Time on the ball. Just carries it forward. No one really pressing him. Inside to Hazeman and now Egan. And Burnley sitting off us, not really pressing, which surprises me a tad. And Egan's got it in the centre circle, but we are getting forced backwards now. It's good work, and it's all the way to the keeper. No idea why we needed to see all of that. As Doyle picks it up, just behind halfway. Brings it over, he's got support from his fullback, but instead goes down the line himself. No pressure on him. Gets to the byline, into Richards, it's blocked. And Bullock's rebound is exactly the same. Poku brings it away. And he works himself down the right, though Bullock nicks it off him. Brilliant intensity. Asensio back in to win it. And calm and collected in possession. First chance to Hemel Hempstead, it was a good one too. But now Burnley have got it from a throw. They go all the way back to halfway. Castaños, wide to Miranda. Got a chance to deliver here. They can beat us in wide areas with that narrow diamond. Thornley heads the first cross out to Martinez and Asensio. Burnley looking a good side in possession, but have they got that ruthless streak that we've had most of this year? As it goes wide to Martinez again, we're expecting to be peppered with crosses. There's another one. Hwang's in, it's a great finish. The former Wolves man puts it in the top corner. It is the start we would have expected at the start of the season. And I kind of do want the bubble to burst, because it shouldn't be how it has been this year. It shouldn't be that comfortable. 1-0 Burnley, and see if we can respond. And it's another corner for the visitors. They seem to have built confidence from that early goal. Poku gets it as the corner's headed away, recycles possession, tries to play into that sort of corridor, but it's dealt with well by Thornley there, who was forced wide. Whether he'll do 90 minutes, I'm not sure, but he's flying down the left wing here. Plays Richards, who goes back to Armin, rather sensibly, I think you'd say. Egan up to Bullock again. Got two running off him. Ricky J. Jones is one. Rounds the keeper. And it's normally an inevitability with him, but that one might be one of the worst finishes we've seen from him at the club. It remains 1-0 to Burnley with half an hour gone. But it's not been much in the game. We're still competing with very top sides. As Thornley heads away to Hazeman here. Over the top towards Rodell Richards, who's got Ricky J. Jones in the middle. More coming in support now, but does he need them? He finds Jones, whose shot's blocked. Miranda plays out to Lewis Potter. And Burnley are on the attack. It's end to end. It's high intensity, this. And I don't know who that suits more as we go along. Arthur Reed in the centre circle to Bullock. Got support from Egan. Good job we've got a week off after this. That's all I'm going to say. Richards back to Egan. Over to Bullock. Hits the post with a half volley. It's another good chance for Hemel Hempstead Town. We've had more of the shots now. We've had more of the possession. We just can't find that cutting edge. It's been the opposite to a lot of this season. And at half-time, it looks like the inevitable might finally happen. But we do often finish strong. We've got good players on the pitch. And we play pretty well despite the deficit. So let's not worry about the early goal too much. We'll keep an eye on who we can replace. But for now, we're competing with a side who were recently relegated. And despite their false position at the moment, I'd expect us to be in relatively opposite positions come the end of the year. I'm going to go and make a couple of changes now. A quarter of the game to go. So we will have Callon Haseman switching to the left. And on will come Alador Hamilton. A bit like Fulham. Just want to get a bit of composure and control in possession. We're also going to bring on Javan Malcolm for Rodell Richards because Malcolm's been unstoppable in recent weeks. I'm tempted to take Bullock off as well for Kamari Doyle, but I'm going to leave that one 5 more minutes. 2 changes made, still 1-0 Burnley. What can we do to try and save the game? Because Bullock and Haseman are both struggling a bit. I'm going to bring on Doyle for Bullock. He's not had much of a chance this season. Did well in one of the games we showed on camera recently. But we tend to go, I think this might be an unfortunate one for us. It might be a defeat at last. We're going to encourage the lads. We're going to push forward. But I don't think it's coming. 4 minutes of stoppage time. Is there going to be a late saviour? We've got a goal kick for Nick Pope, or a free kick, sorry, which Egan gives back to G-Cock. One last chance. We've done it twice already this year. I wouldn't rule it out again. Bennett Sharif over the top to Ricky J. Jones. It couldn't, could it? Gets to the byline on the right, back to Doyle. Just under hit. That's where we missed the quality. Doyle heads away to Poku. He gets it forward towards Hwang, and I think our luck might be running out as we chase the game. On the counter we caught out. And finally our run's been stopped. You've seen some of the late equalisers there off camera that we just talked about. You saw some of those ruthless wins in the last couple of episodes. But finally, we've been defeated. And for the first time in a couple of months we lose. Or, well, we could have still got a goal out of it. I was going to say we drew a blank too, but it's a corner kick. Good save from the Burnley keeper. Nick Pope, he's an England international. What do you expect? Javan Malcolm will put the corner in, but it's too little, too late now. So the back post is headed down to Doyle. Back to Malcolm again. Huge ball back to Bennett Sharif, but the offside flag is up. It will be a 2-0 win for Burnley, the side who I expect to recover and be near the top of the league at the end of the season. But even then, we were probably the better side. The expected goals is higher. The possession was higher. We just didn't have that cutting edge. But the way these boys have been this year, I wouldn't bank on them to respond. We'll be back next week to see if they do. Fitness test time as we are back after our first defeat in a couple of months to face Swansea. And actually, that was our first defeat on camera this season, wasn't it? Because the Preston and Sunderland ones were off camera. And in fact, even all the draws were off camera before. So that's the first time you haven't been my lucky charm. But let's get through the tactical meeting. We shouldn't have many fitness concerns. Derby have got Carlos Mendes Gomez, currently a Luton player in real life. I wonder how many of the originals are still there. As again, we're breaking the record attendance. First in the Championship despite defeat last week. It's ridiculous. The match load is good. However, I want to make a couple of changes. Thornhill back in at left back for Albi Armin. I'm not sure about centre-half. Definitely going to bring Taylor back into the squad. It's just whether I bring him into the team too, because Doyle was all right last weekend. So I think I'm going to leave it at that for them. I'm going to take Haseman out for Alador Hamilton, who's getting stronger and back to fitness quicker. And we've also done a classic chat with Rodell Richards. You haven't scored in 5 games. I don't know how much more I can wait. We'll see if it pays off. So we'll see how many changes that is from the last game. Just the 2. Armin out for Thornhill, Hamilton in for Haseman. Let's see if we can bounce back against our live stream side on Twitch. Well, they've made 4 changes, and it's worth remembering that Derby expected to finish in the top half by the media. None of the originals are in that 11, so they're a side that's obviously either gone down and come back up or had a lot of turnaround. Jack Taylor starts at Peterborough, Mendes Gomez I know as a Luton fan, and Tom Edwards, Daniel Bentley, couple of familiar Championship names on the bench, Schmoddix as well. But a very different looking side to the one that we've got over there. So, of course, Ricky's on the different side today. Let's hope he does well for Hemel Hempstead. Into the first half we go. I was going to say we can't afford to go back-to-back with defeats, but that's what we did against Preston and Fulham in September. Then we went 10 unbeaten, so that's not true either. Egan heads over the bar. I just want to be competitive, and if we lose, it's not the end of the world. Premier League football would be scary at this point, as here come Derby down the left-hand side with Ogbeta. Got a chance to cut in, instead plays the short ball to Taylor. He goes forward down the right, it's a lovely switch of play, and at the byline they can cut back. Benachour gets the ball in, Mendes Gomez with a blocked shot. And Thornley heads away. Bullock supports it. Richards to Jones and the counter is on. I'm so used to seeing Ricky J. Jones in a Derby shirt as that challenge falls for Rodell Richards. The chat almost worked within 10 minutes, but Derby survive and they're back on the front foot from the goal kick. Long ball downfield, which Egan intercepts. Thornley can bring it away. Gives it to Thornhill. He puts it up to Bullock, the number 10. Through ball to Ricky J. Jones. Of course he scores. Ricky J. Jones with his 15th for the season. Leon Bullock sets it up. Oh, we just are too good. We're too competitive. We've got great momentum in this club. And there's something special happening here. This squad we've put together might not be the best in the world. But my word, it's got the heart, it's got the mentality. And it's got the moments of brilliance too, as Rodell Richards gets it on the left. Back to Arthur Reed and Leon Bullock. Into Alador, Hamilton and Jones. Bullock on the edge again. What a goal that is! Where on earth did that come from? Bent it round a player. It wasn't even in the corner. Still went in like a rocket. And it's 2-0 with half an hour gone. And I did say, but we've got the moments of brilliance. And it's the same players producing them in a championship. Although that's not a bad goal from Kyle Joseph. Then it's disallowed due to offside. I'm not sure it was, but we'll take it. Burnley, who beat us last week, look like they're going on a run. They're beating Forest, who we beat in the last episode on camera. But as we come to half-time, it's 2-0 from 2 shots on target. And again, without truly dominating, we found that ruthless streak. And it's turning up every other game, I would say, on average. And as long as we've got that, we're going to be right in the mix. So with 6 minutes gone in the second half, it's a Derby free kick. It's a free header at the back post. And Callum Connolly gets one back for Derby. What a start to the second half for them. Now, can we turn it around? Can we keep that momentum? Or are Derby going to be able to get on the front foot now? So many times this year when 2-0 up, you see the opposition come out so gung-ho in the second half and it's hard to stop. Now that's left space behind for Ricky J. Jones, who gets in here, forced a little bit wide, and Connolly, who scored the goal to get them back into it, has helped the visitors with a last-ditch challenge there. Arthur Reed will take the corner though. In-swinger from the right to the back post. Scott Egan's up, so wonderful save. Ogbeta hoofs away. We've got to make changes in a moment just to try and stem the tide here from Derby. And there are a couple of tired legs. So with 25 minutes to go, Arthur Reed will be replaced by Callon Hazeman. Rodell Richards will be replaced by Javan Malcolm. And we'll give it 5 before making the last one. Well, Alador Hamilton really struggling. It's his first league start in a long time. So Camoy Richardson comes on. We've been managing him, sort of giving him 2 or 3 games where he's made appearances, then a couple off, and vice versa, just because he's coming back from such a long injury. And I don't want him to pick up all those muscle knocks other people do. He's on no for the last 20 here, and at the moment, it looks like we might see it out, which keeps us top of the championship, and just shows the mentality of these boys. The bounce back ability is there, as Egan heads away a long goal kick to Ogbeta. I might have spoken too soon, because that's a brilliant delivery. It's going to be 2-2. Wonderful goal from Derby. And maybe finally the wheels are starting to come off the wagon. For the first time this season, we didn't see a win on camera in the first game today. And now it might go back to back. Unless Leon Bullock, 25 yards out with the free kick. Perfect angle for a right footer. Oh, he's hit the post. That could have been the moment. But we're on the front foot again. We're finishing strong. Thornhill can't quite keep it in. It's out for a throw by the Derby corner flag. And I think it is going to finish with a draw, which, look, start of the season, draws in games like this would have been incredible. As it is, maybe we're a little disappointed, but we're top of the championship, and I'm disappointed about a draw. It's incredible. Richardson picks it up in the middle to Thornley. Can we create one last chance? Egan to Hazeman to Thornley to Egan. I'm just waiting for that one ball over the top that might give us the last second chance. Doyle goes wide. I think we'll just see out the seconds here. Not a key highlight. No idea why we're seeing it. But there is the whistle. Hemel Hempstead Town 2, Derby County 2. It was a perfect start. But again, we weren't convincing. We had 4 shots on target. We scored 2 of them. we pick up another good point. Let's go and have a look at when we'll next be back. We do stay top of the league on goal difference, but you can see how tight it is. Basically, between us and Sheffield Wednesday in 13th, 11 points after nearly half the season. It's madness, really. It's also crazy that Burnley and Bournemouth are back down there. Burnley lost their 2-goal lead against Nottingham Forest and did worse than us. They lost the game. Bournemouth, despite equalising in the 90th minute, lost against Reading. So, look, all things considered, we've got to be thrilled. Let's have a look at when we'll be back. I'm trying to bear in mind the end of the transfer window in January. We also don't know who we're going to get in the FA Cup. So if that's a big tie, we'll come back for that. We've got the League Cup quarter-final, but it's against a Championship side. We've got really fortunate with the draw again. So maybe it'll be a leg of a semi-final. But even then, Sunderland v Chelsea, Spurs v Rotherham, if they go the way we'd like them to, there might only be one Premier League team left in the semi-finals. I'd imagine that won't be the case, but I'm planning to show, if we get there, a leg of the League Cup semi-final. If not, we'll come back for either a big FA Cup tie or the final game of January and the transfer deadline day. I don't envisage it being a busy month in the transfer window, but we'll have lots of games to reflect on at that point, so it should be a good point to come back. If you did enjoy this episode though, finally seeing our perfect on-camera record go this season, then please do put a thumbs up on the video. Of course, we bounced back straight away. As soon as we lost to Burnley, we were back with a good start, and in the end a decent point against Derby. But signs that maybe it's just getting a little less easy, and certainly at the back, teams may be starting to find us out, though we have had some injuries back there. If you want to stay up to date, please do subscribe down below and turn that notification bell. Loads of links in the eye above and a special mini-series coming next week. You can also find the latest Review the 92 episode above my head right now if you haven't seen it. So give it a try, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.